On YouTube, Jamie the Kid00 here, bringing you guys my first kind of weird deck profile of the January 2014 format. I will say the premise of this deck is not mine. Shout-outs must go to Darren O'Mara, who was deck profiled on my channel for topping the latest YCS in London. The last YCS I went to, and Matt Conway, two people who attend my locals. They gave me the idea for this build, and I drastically changed some of the engines in it. But as you guys will have seen in the title, this is not going to be any ordinary plant deck profile. This is going to be Geargia Machina Plant. It's a lot like Karakuri Machina Plant. That's what they described it to me as. It's like Karakuri Machina Plant, KMP, which I believe is a 2 to 3 year old deck now, but I figured I'm just going to show you guys the list that I've been testing. Now, I will say that there are a few cards that work much better in this deck, but they're not out yet. They're the new Geargia cards, and I'll talk about them when I get to their current replacements. But this deck does work in its current form. I personally prefer my list. I like my list. And I'll show you guys what I've been testing on Donanoak. It does win games. It does surprise a lot of players because they have no idea what's coming. So if you're looking for surprise factor, this is definitely the deck for you. So we're going to start off with our plant engine. We're going to start off with Spore. Also, a gift to the 10% of you who noticed that this isn't an English Spore while it was sat in front of you. One Spore, one Dandylion, because Dandylion is incredible, especially in tandem with Melee, the card that was on top of my extra deck. We then play, of course, the double Lonefire Blossom. I'm not getting another super because the supers are like 50 quid at the moment. It's crazy. Not getting another super. Double Lonefire is so powerful now. I absolutely love double Lonefire. One Tytannial, Princess of the Camelias. This hasn't been played since Jeff Jones's Quick Draw Dandy Warrior deck, I believe. But this card is just really easy to make in this deck. It's really easy to make now that we have double Lonefire. So Tytannial is in here. And then rounding off, I guess, the plant engine is one Debris Dragon. So that is our plant engine, because Debris Dragon is sadly at 1. It's kind of good at 1 because it means I don't have to waste my extra deck space on 2 Debris Dragon targets. Continuing on into, I guess, generic stuff before we get to the more archetype stuff. Play double Crane Crane. Crane Crane in here is really good in tandem with the amount of 3s we play. We play, of course, the Lonefire, and we play the Dandylion. Now, it comes into its own in combination with Dandylion because of its ability to be a 1-card Melia. And then if you have a Spore engrave or a Lonefire, you can detach that Dandylion, get 2 tokens, get the Spore or the Lonefire, or if you get the Lonefire, tribute that Lonefire for a Spore, and then make a Formula Synchron and begin to make advantage plays just off of the 1 Crane Crane. So the Melee is very good in tandem with Crane Cranes. And then the last kind of generic card I play is one Thunder King. It's just a really good normal summon. This deck actually has surprising amounts of room for traps. This plays quite a few traps, so Thunder King is a stable card in this deck. And Thunder King is just good. Now we're going to move on to the archetype stuff, which is really cool. We play 3 copies of Geargiarmor. Geargiarmor is subpar in this deck because it has to be set for at least a turn to get you its search. In the better variant of this deck, it's a lot better to run Geargiauger, the new card that's been released in Japan, that when it's normal summon gets you Geargias to your hand. The 2 Geargias you want to be getting are your Geargiaccelerator, which I'm going to put over here, and your Geargiano MK.III, which I'll be talking about in a minute. So your Geargiauger basically will give you, if we pretend this is Geargiauger for a minute, or if you just pretend this is a turn slower than I'm saying, you would summon your Geargiauger and get a Geargiaccelerator. You'd then special the Accelerator to make Gigant and search out your more combo-oriented pieces, or like your Machina pieces, like your Machina Gearframe. However, you would also use this to set up your Melee plays, because Geargiano MK.II is able to special summon Mark 1 or Mark 2 and make a Melee, because it's 2 Earths. So it's really quite versatile. It works really well with the plant engine, and the fact that this guy, I mean, when he's flipped, he can get this. You can then, if you have a way to get a Spore onto field, you get the Spore on the field and you start synchroing stuff off. It's just really, really powerful. I really like it. Because, I mean, you can get the Spore out at level 4 by banishing the Dandylion or the Lonefire. Synchro one of these, make Rai-Oh, and then you can get, you can set this, special summon the Nishipachi. This flips face up, gets the other Accelerator, and you can do your Karakuri OTK plays off of that. Like, the plant engine only assists the Karakuri OTK, which this deck can do. Continuing on, we play 3 copies of Geargiano MK.II, which I believe is the main reason why my friends Darren and Matthew kind of concocted this deck because of the fact that it can so easily make melee of the trees. So they just really wanted a way to make melee easily with an advantage engine-based deck, and they managed to make it. So these three are really good for making melee. They're really good for doing the this special Geargiano, getting the tuner and going off into Black Rose or Karakuri Shoguns. They're just incredible, so they're really powerful in this deck. So that is the Geargia engine. We do play Karakuri tuners because we're playing the Karakuri Synchros, so we play the 1 Nishipachi and the 2 Watchdogs. I've never really had a problem with this number. Sometimes I can get away with playing 1 Watchdog, 1 Nishipachi, but I just like them like that. And then I play 1 Genex Ally Birdman because while it has a good interaction with this OTK, you can pull off this OTK by using the Birdman and the 2 accelerators, but because that's all Sam Pedigo needed to do his OTK. You can also have this card work really nicely with cards like the Debris Dragon to make it, Debris Dragon can bring back something and then you can bounce that thing it brings back if you need that thing in the hand. You can bounce the Debris Dragon to hand and then exceeds with this, or make a 6 with this. Well, actually you can't make a 6 with this because the only 6s I play. But you can make the Zen mains with this. It works a lot better with the things you play in this deck, so I like the Birdman. I then play a little Machina engine, which actually works really nicely in the form of double Gearframe, double Fortress. The 2 Fortresses are really cool because of the fact we play, I can't remember where he's gone now. We play the Spore, sorry. We play the Spore, so we can make 8s off of him. You can make Dracosack off of him and Redox, or him and a Karakuri tuner. He's just pretty damn cool. And then the last monster I play is 1 Redox because almost like half of this deck, like loads of cards in this deck, more than half of this deck is Earth. So Redox is a reborn. It's a big 3k ass. It's also I forgot what I was going to say. It's also a material to make synchro plays with your Spore. It's also pretty cool for making Dracosack. So that is the monster lineup. I hope you guys are following this, because I know a lot of this is probably looking pretty crazy, but I promise you, if you test this on Dueling Network, it'll actually work out. For the spells, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Foolish Burial, no Book of Moon, there is literally no room, and then 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, 37 card deck. You just want to find your pieces, so yeah, 37 card deck. That is the spells. That's the only spells I play. I was playing Duality for a while because the Geargiarmors and the Machina Gearframes are pretty slow, but I found myself special summoning like almost every other turn, about after turn 2 or 3. So hey, you know, that's a thing. And then for the traps, I'm playing double Pollinosis. This deck is able to get Dandy tokens out really, really easily because of the ways that it can special summon Dandy back to the field and make Xyz plays with Cranes. Like if you have Dandy in grave and Crane in your hand, you can make this. I just really like these in the deck. Sorry, Lisa the Raichu was in the background asking me questions. But yeah, 2 Pollinosis. I'll actually explain Pollinosis because a lot of you probably won't know what it does. It's basically when a monster would be normal or special summoned, or a spell or trap card is activated, you contribute 1 plant type monster and negate them. You know, negate that summon or negate that activation. It's the only thing it doesn't stop is an effect monster, but it's really, really powerful in tandem with fluff tokens, which you do get a lot of in this deck. So, Pollinosis. It's surprisingly good. Double Mirror. My friend was playing 3. I felt that 3 was too many. Double Mirror Force because hey, generic degenerate removal. It's a thing if they don't get rid of it. And then the one-of traps in the form of Compulse, Bottomless, Torrential, and Warning. So that is the complete main deck. And now you'll see the extra deck that is built to complement it. Building the extra deck was the single hardest thing I ever did because there is so little room, and some of my friends' choices I didn't really agree with or like. I wanted to build this in a bit more of a way that relied on Geargias a little more than they did. But, oh my god, building this extra deck was so difficult. So, don't really copy this extra deck. Build it to have the choices you feel you want to play. So we're going to start off with the Synchros. We play 1 Formula Synchron, because you make this all the time. So Formula was kind of a shoo-in for me. We play no 3, no 4. We play 1 5 in the form of Catastor, because Catastor was the card that I continuously found myself needing over Armades. I did test Armades, didn't like it. 1 Naturia Barkion, because this card can be made with Karakuri, Nishipachi, and Crane. There have been situations in which I have needed a more generic 6, but those situations haven't really been game losing, so I suppose you could change this out for an Iron Chain Dragon or an Orient Dragon, but you will hardly ever need to make a 6 play other than when you make this with your Crane Nishipachi play, so that's a thing. 1/7 in the form of Black Rose, because the only time you should really make it is with Debris Dragon. You will have the occasional play where you make it with Geargiano MK.II, getting back a Geargiano, tributing it for a Watchdog, and then sinking into this to blow up the field for 1 card. But you shouldn't really have to make this that often. We then play the Karakuri OTK engine in the form of double Bure and 1 Buredo. I've only ever needed the 3rd Bure once, and to be honest, 3rd Bure takes up far too much room in the extra deck. So I'd rather take that loss for that 1% of the time which you'll need it. And then the last Synchro I play is 1 Scrap Dragon because I felt that it was the best 8 over Stardust. We don't have Spark here, so I wanted to play Spark Dragon, but we don't have Spark. So I felt the Scrap Dragon was the best card because you can make it with Debris Dragon, Dandylion, and a token, which you do occasionally have when you Foolish Burial that Dandy. So I just really like the Scrap in here. So that is the Synchros. For the Xyzes, this is even tighter. For our 3s, we play 1 Zen Mains because I felt it was the best generic. It was the best one-of that I was going to make off of anything, and to be fair, it hasn't let me down so far. And I'm then playing double Melee of the Trees. Melee is the card that basically cycles your plant engine. Melee is really cool because she's able to be made out of a Dandylion. It's really cool play when you can go Crane, get Dandylion, detach the Dandylion off of this to special summon a Lonefire, tribute, so the Dandylion gets the 2 tokens, and then that Lonefire can tribute a token, and then you can usually get Tytannial. Your Lonefire is in defense, so you now have a Tytannial, a Melee, a Lonefire, and a token, and that Tytannial has its effect to stop things targeting. So it's a really tough field to get around. And hey, Melee can spam Tytannial out of the grave, so that's part of the reason why Tytannial's in here. So Melee is just really, really combo-y. But she takes quite a while to set up. She's a mid to late game card, which is what makes her a bit more difficult to play. For the rank 4 Xyzes, I play double Geargiauger X. I'm just going to keep Melee there because she's just so cool. Double Geargiauger X is, in my opinion, a staple in this because of the machine engine. You just want to be searching out the combo pieces that you need. It's also really cool because when he dies, he gets you of course, a level 3 Geargiano or Geargiano MK.II, which you can then accompany with a level 3 Earth and make a Melee. So he was always getting back Melee fodder, or he's getting back a MK.III to get you a tuner. So his recursion and his advantage in this deck is incredibly strong. He's mainly in there just to be made with Geargiauger or Geargiarmor and Accelerator, and then searching out, say, a Birdman that you may need or a Karakuri tuner that you may need. So he's just in there for those purposes. I then play 1 generic 4 in the form of Maestroke because, hey, Maestroke is Maestroke. It's the best 4. Like, same mentality for Zen Mains being the best 3 in my opinion. And I then play 1 Mecha Phantom Beastroker Sack as my rank 7. Because there are a surprising number of times that I need this. In fact, on Dueling Network, very recently when I was testing, I lost a game because I wasn't playing the Mecha Phantom Beastroker Sack and I was playing I believe a Stardust Dragon, or it was another level 6. But I found myself really needing the Draco Sack in a lot of plays, so the Draco went back into the list. There is so much in the extra deck that this deck could use to assist it, but hey, that's it. So, and also its tokens have a really, really awesome interaction with the plant engine that this deck plays. So yeah, I'm going to align some of the key cards in the deck just for the purposes of the video outro and maybe doing a thumbnail. But yeah, guys, this has been a really odd deck, really a joy to test and play, and I'll probably take this to a local, like a fun locals, just to troll about with, because I do have a lot of fun with this deck. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed building it, testing it, and recording it. And please do me a favour and go try this out, because you won't regret it. Either way, I'm going to call this quits now. I've got to go watch The Hobbit. And I'll see you guys soon with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related deck profiles. Peace out. Bye.